Whoever said diversity was our strength? The Daily Telegraph is reporting 14 children in New South Wales have been subjected to suspected forced marriages in the past financial year. Now, some of these are claims of unofficial ceremonies conducted by Islamic clerics in backyards. The Sunday Telegraph has obtained exclusive data under Freedom of Information laws. It found underaged forced marriages in New South Wales reported to the Department of Communities and Justice Child Protection Hotline between 2024 to 25 have almost doubled in the past financial year. There have been 117 reports recorded since 2018-19. Last year, 14 children were suspected of being forced to marry, up from 8 the financial year prior. And yet, we are supposed to believe that multiculturalism is working. Now, we have imported these problems into the country. A government source told the paper they were aware of some Islamic-only marriages conducted by Muslim celebrants, mostly in the western suburbs of Sydney, which are not legally registered. They said, "I feel confident in saying that there are a small number of weddings organised by a girl's family taking place in parts of Sydney within hardline conservative Islamic communities. There are many marriages that wouldn't come up on the government's radar because they're not official marriages and they are not registered. This, of course, makes it harder for authorities to investigate as it's heavily underreported." So, how many more are there? And the reality is, we don't know. We don't know how far spread this is. These figures pertain to New South Wales, so who's to say it's not happening elsewhere in the country? Now, this is child abuse, and many of these young girls would be terrified to even speak out. And this is not new, especially in Sydney. It's just gotten worse. This was in 2017.
This child is just 14 years old and is about to be married to a man 20 years her senior. In a tiny room hidden at the back of a suburban mosque, this shy teenager, dressed in a light blue headscarf, sits anxiously. She's known the man she's about to marry for just a few days.
Same here.
The groom has paid for the underage girl, handing over a $1,480 gold necklace in exchange for his bride. While the girl's mother watches on, she's given her full blessing.
Now, imagine how terrified that child would have been. And Mum gives the blessing, seemingly under the banner of Islam. The latest AFP national data shows there were 118 reports of forced marriage in the 2024 to 25 financial year in Australia. That's up from 91 reports from the previous financial year. Not just in backyards, but being forcibly taken overseas to get married and then come back. And once again, there's a common denominator in all of this: immigration. If this is not yet another rallying cry to fix what is a broken system, then I don't know what is. We cannot bring people into this country whose values and cultures are incompatible with our own. New Liberal leader Angus Taylor said today that he doesn't want a discriminatory immigration policy, and that goes the same for successive governments. That's always been the case. But I think that this is exactly what we need. And that includes people whose cultures have sects of radical Islam. And that's not being racist. It's about identifying the key threats. Just last year, a Muslim cleric in Western Sydney pushed for Sharia law in Australia.
We forget that there is a Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala waiting to be established. We forget that every single day that we live without the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are being dishonoured. We are being belittled. The blood of the Muslims have become cheap.
We got a glimpse this week of Muslim men at Monday's anti-Israel and anti-Australia rally when they defied a move-on notice and got on the ground and started praying. They knew exactly what they were doing. And in my opinion, that was a weaponisation of religion. Yet Labor has kept the welcome mat firmly open. It granted 3,000 visitor visas to Gazans with little to no security checks. It welcomed back the ISIS brides, and guess what? The brides are back for more. ISIS brides still being held in northern Syria have applied for Australian passports in an effort to return home. At least 10 women and children who are in Syrian camps have lodged applications. So clearly the jihadi romance didn't quite turn out as expected. But who are we letting in? And who have we let in? And just on those reports of forced Islamic marriages, I have to ask, where are the so-called feminists? The same men-hating left who champion the Me Too movement, where are they now? What are their thoughts on the way some Muslim men treat and oppress underage girls? The misogyny that exists in parts of Islam is astounding. Where is our Australian of the Year, Grace Tame? I mean, she's been silent on the plight of Jewish women and the rape of Jewish women. What about backyard marriages? Is that something she cares to comment on? Or is she too busy disgracing herself from Gadigal to Gaza? The brave feminist warriors love to rail all sorts of trivial nonsense, but not issues like child marriage and mass rape of Jews. There are reports of around 85 Sharia councils operating in Britain. Let this be a warning to us. Diversity is not our strength.